We gave your child's operation money to your sister. She deserves a better life. Dad said it like he was proud. I didn't cry. I just looked at my fiancé. He stood up, pulled out his phone, and said, "Should I tell them what I do for a living?" My sister's smile disappeared. The restaurant was one of those places where the silverware cost more than my first car. My fiancé David had chosen it specifically for this dinner. When I questioned the choice, he'd said my parents would take us more seriously in an upscale setting, that it would show we were responsible adults worth investing in. I'd been too desperate to argue. Looking back, I realized he already knew exactly how this evening would unfold. My daughter Lily sat beside me, her hand never leaving mine. At 7 years old, she understood more than a child should have to. The tumor pressing against her spinal cord had taught her about pain, about hospitals, about conversations that stopped abruptly when she entered rooms. She'd asked me 2 weeks ago if she was going to die. I held her and lied, saying everything would be fine. But the surgery cost $180,000, and our insurance had denied the claim twice, calling it an elective procedure despite 3 independent medical reviews confirming its necessity. My parents arrived 15 minutes late. Mom wore her new Chanel jacket, the one she'd posted all over Facebook last month. Dad had his Rolex on the anniversary gift to himself. My sister Jessica walked in behind them, already smiling that particular smile she'd perfected over 32 years, the one that said she'd already won whatever game we were playing. "Sorry we're late, Tammy," Jessica announced, kissing the air near my cheek. The traffic from the spa was absolutely brutal. David stood and shook hands with my father, then pulled out chairs for the women. He'd insisted on paying for this dinner despite our situation. When I protested, he'd simply said, "Trust me." Those 2 words had gotten me through the past 3 months. David worked in finance, something complicated with international accounts that he rarely discussed at home. We'd been engaged for 8 months, and he'd been a father to Lily in ways that transcended biology. The waiter brought menus. Jessica ordered the most expensive wine without asking anyone else's preference. This was standard. She'd been the golden child since birth, the one who could do no wrong. When she dropped out of college twice, it was because she was finding herself. When I'd worked 3 jobs to finish my degree, I was showing off. She'd married a real estate developer who left her for his secretary, taking most of their money in the process. My parents had covered her legal fees, her new condo's down payment, and her credit card debt. They'd never once offered me help with anything. So Dad said once we'd ordered his voice carrying, that boardroom authority he loved to use. "You said this was important." I started to speak, but my throat closed. Lily squeezed my hand. She'd wanted to stay home with David's sister, but I needed her here, needed my parents to see what was at stake. David spoke instead. "We're here because Lily needs surgery. It's time sensitive. The tumor is growing, and the doctors have given us a narrow window before it causes permanent paralysis." Mom's face flickered with something that might have been concern. "Oh, Tammy, honey, that's terrible. But surely your insurance." "Denied it," I managed. "They're calling it elective, not medically necessary. We've appealed twice. Our lawyer says we might win eventually, but Lily doesn't have eventually. She has 4 weeks before the neurological damage becomes irreversible." The number made it real. Lily's fingers tightened around mine. Jessica sipped her wine. "That's awful, really, Tammy. But what do you expect Mom and Dad to do about it?" I'd prepared for this question. I'd rehearsed it in the mirror, in the car, in the shower. "I'm asking for a loan. The surgery costs $180,000. I'll sign anything, agree to any terms. I have my house as collateral. I'll work the rest of my life if I have to, but I need help now." Dad cut into his steak. The knife scraped against the plate. "That's a substantial amount of money." "I know. And you're certain about this surgeon." "Have you gotten second opinions?" David answered. "We've consulted with 7 specialists across 3 states. Dr. Patterson at Johns Hopkins is the best option. He's done this procedure successfully for years, with excellent outcomes. The insurance company is just trying to avoid paying." "Still risky," Jessica interjected. "I mean, surgery is always risky. Maybe you should wait and see if the insurance comes through." Lily made a small sound. Not quite a whimper, but close. I wanted to throw my water glass at Jessica's perfectly made-up face. "The tumor won't wait," David said, his voice level but cold. "Every day increases the chance of permanent damage." Mom reached across the table and patted my hand. The gesture was performative, meant to be seen. "Sweetheart Tammy, we want to help. We really do. But that kind of money is complicated. We have our own obligations." Like what? The words came out harsher than I'd intended. Dad's jaw tightened. He hated being questioned. Like your mother's medical expenses, like maintaining the house, like retirement planning. I'd seen their bank statements once years ago when I'd helped them file taxes. They had investments worth over $2 million. The house was paid off. Mom's medical expenses were Botox and facials at the dermatologist she called a wellness doctor. I'm not asking for a gift, I said. I'll put it in writing. I'll pay interest. Whatever you need. Jessica leaned back in her chair. You know what your problem is, Tammy. You've always been so proud. Too proud to ask for help until you're desperate. And then you expect everyone to just drop everything. The audacity of that statement stole my breath. Jessica, who'd asked for money. So many times I'd lost count. Jessica, who'd borrowed $5,000 from me 7 years ago and never mentioned it again. Jessica, who'd moved back home 3 separate times as an adult. That's not fair, I whispered. Life's not fair, sweetie Tammy. Jessica's smile widened. You made your choices. You had a kid young. You picked a career that doesn't pay well. You— Stop! Mom's voice cut through the tension. This isn't helpful. A silence fell over the table. The restaurant continued around us. Other families enjoying their meals, unaware that my entire world was collapsing in the corner booth. Dad cleared his throat. We've actually been discussing this since you called. Your mother and I have talked it over extensively. Hope flared in my chest, painful and bright. We've decided that we can give you some money, he continued. Not the full amount, but something to help. How much, David asked. $20,000. The hope died. $20,000 wouldn't even cover the anesthesiologist. I started to say this, but Dad held up his hand. However, he said, we've also decided to help Jessica. She's been through a difficult time with the divorce, and she's trying to start over. We want to support both our daughters. The world tilted slightly. What do you mean, help Jessica? Mom smiled. She actually smiled. We're giving her the money we'd set aside for your request. Jessica wants to start a boutique. She's always been so creative, and this is her chance to really make something of herself. A boutique, I repeated the words because they didn't make sense. You're giving my daughter surgery money to fund a boutique. It's not your money, Jessica said quickly. It's their money. They can do whatever they want with it. David's hand found my shoulder. His grip was tight, anchoring. How much, I asked. How much are you giving her? Dad had the grace to look slightly uncomfortable. We've agreed to invest $160,000 in Jessica's business venture. It's a loan, of course, though. We're not requiring immediate repayment. She'll pay us back when the business is profitable. The numbers weren't even trying to hide what this was. They'd taken the exact amount I'd asked for and given it to my sister instead. They were keeping $20,000 to maintain deniability, to pretend they were helping both of us equally. So to be clear, David said, his voice perfectly calm, you're choosing to fund a boutique over your granddaughter's medical surgery. That's not how we see it, Mom said. We're helping both our daughters. Jessica deserves a chance at a better life. She's been through so much. And what has Lily been through? The question came from me, sharp and clear. What exactly has my 7-year-old been through? That matters less than Jessica's lifestyle choices. Don't be dramatic, Tammy, Jessica snapped. It's not like she's dying. Lily's hand pulled away from mine. I heard her sharp inhale, the kind that came before tears. David immediately moved to her side, kneeling beside her chair and whispering something I couldn't hear. Actually, I said, looking at my sister, without the surgery, paralysis is guaranteed within 3 months. And yes, the tumor is potentially fatal. So maybe choose your words more carefully when discussing my daughter's life. Girls, please. Mom's voice had that pleading quality she used when she wanted everyone to just get along so she didn't have to deal with conflict. This doesn't have to be a fight. We're all family. Dad nodded. We've made our decision. We think it's fair and balanced. Jessica needs this opportunity, and we want to support her. You'll figure something out for Lily. You always do. The dismissal was clear. They'd made up their minds before ever arriving at the restaurant. This dinner was just theater, a chance for them to announce their decision and feel magnanimous about the token $20,000 they were offering. She deserves a better life, Dad added, gesturing to Jessica. After everything she's been through, she deserves this chance. He said it like he was proud, like he'd done something noble by choosing one daughter's business venture over the other daughter's child. Like this was wisdom instead of cruelty. I didn't cry. I'd cried enough over the past 3 months. I'd cried in hospital parking lots and in the shower and in my car during lunch breaks. I'd cried until I had nothing left but a cold, clear understanding of exactly who my parents were. Instead, I turned and looked at David. He'd returned to his seat after comforting Lily, and his face was unreadable. Our eyes met, and I saw something there I hadn't seen before. Not pity, not even anger. It was calculation. He stood up slowly, reaching into his jacket pocket. His phone emerged sleek and expensive. He held it loosely, almost casually, as he looked at my father. "Should I tell them what I do for a living?" he asked. The question hung in the air. Jessica's smile began to fade. She'd been triumphant seconds ago, glowing with victory. Now uncertainty crept across her features. "You work in finance," Dad said dismissively. "We know that." "I do," David agreed. "But specifically, I'm a senior partner at Whitmore and Associates. We handle wealth management and private banking for high net worth individuals. I manage a portfolio of about $800 million. The number landed like a bomb. Mom's fork stopped halfway to her mouth. "My annual salary is $1.2 million, not counting bonuses." David continued, his voice conversational. "Last year, my bonus was $3.4 million. I've been hesitant to discuss this because your daughter values privacy, and I didn't want our relationship to be about money." Jessica's smile had completely disappeared. Her face had gone pale under her makeup. "We haven't needed your money," David said, looking at my parents. "We have more than enough for Lily's surgery. I have investment accounts, savings assets. We could pay for this surgery 10 times over without feeling it." I felt dizzy. "David, I wanted you to ask them," he said, turning to me. "You needed to know who they really are, what they would choose when it mattered." His eyes moved back to my parents. And now we all know. Dad's face had turned red. "Then why put us through this charade?" "Because it wasn't a charade for me," David said. "I genuinely wanted to believe that when faced with their granddaughter's life, they would make the right choice. I was wrong, and I'm sorry for that, but I needed to know what kind of people I was marrying into." He pulled out his wallet and placed a credit card on the table. "Dinner's on me. All of it, including Jessica's expensive wine." Jessica found her voice. "You let us think you manipulated." I observed David corrected. "There's a difference. We came here asking for help, and you revealed exactly who you are. The money I have doesn't change the choice you made. You decided your daughter's boutique was worth more than your granddaughter's health. That's a decision you'll have to live with." Mom reached for me. "Sweetie Tammy, if we'd known what," I pulled away from her hand, "that David had money. That only matters if you were making a financial decision instead of a moral one. Lily needed surgery either way. That didn't change." "This isn't fair," Jessica said, her voice rising. "You set us up. You made us look bad on purpose." David's laugh was sharp. "No one made you do anything. You were offered a chance to help a child your niece, and you chose not to. The fact that it turns out we don't need your money doesn't change the choice you made." "We were still going to give you $20,000, Dad protested. "That's not nothing." "You're right," I said, standing. "It's not nothing. It's insulting. It's the minimum amount you thought you could offer while still claiming you helped. It's a tip, not assistance." I picked up Lily, who wrapped her arms around my neck. She was getting too big to carry comfortably, but I needed to hold her. David placed his hand on my back, guiding us toward the exit. "Wait," Mom called. "Please don't leave like this. We can talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about," I said without turning around. "You made your choice. Jessica gets her boutique. I hope it's everything she dreams of." "You're being childish," Tammy Jessica shouted. "Just because you tricked us." I stopped and turned back. The entire restaurant was watching now, but I didn't care. "I didn't trick anyone," I said clearly. "I asked my parents to help save my daughter's life. You all decided that funding a retail business was more important. Those are the facts. What you do with that information is up to you." We left. The cool evening air hit my face as we walked to David's car. Lily was crying quietly against my shoulder. David opened the door and helped us both inside before getting into the driver's seat. For a long moment, none of us spoke. The restaurant's lights glowed behind us, warm and inviting, completely at odds with what had just happened inside. "I'm sorry," David finally said. "I know that was hard. Why didn't you tell me?" I asked. "About the money. About your plan." "Because you wouldn't have gone through with it," he said. "You would have said it was cruel or manipulative, but I needed you to see them clearly. We're about to get married. Lily is about to become my legal daughter. I needed to know if they were going to be a positive presence in our lives or a toxic one." He was right. I would have refused. I would have said it was too harsh, too calculated. But sitting in that restaurant watching my parents choose Jessica's wants over Lily's needs had clarified everything. "They'll try to reconcile," David said. "Once they process this, once Jessica's boutique inevitably fails, they'll reach out. They'll want access to our life, to the money they now know we have. You need to decide now what that relationship looks like." Lily stirred against me. "Mommy," she whispered, "why doesn't Grandma love me?" The question shattered something in my chest. "She does, baby. She just doesn't know how to show it properly." "That's a lie," Lily said softly. "You don't have to lie anymore. I heard what they said." David caught my eyes in the rearview mirror. "Your grandparents made a bad choice tonight, Lily," he said gently. "But you're going to be okay. We're going to take care of you. The surgery is scheduled for next month and you're going to get better. Will I see them again? Lily asked. That's up to your mom, David said, and eventually up to you. The drive home that night felt surreal. Lily fell asleep in the back seat, exhausted from the emotional toll. David's hand found mine across the console, his thumb tracing circles on my palm. Neither of us spoke for the first 10 minutes. I keep replaying it, I finally said. The look on Dad's face when he said Jessica deserves a better life. Like it was obvious. Like it was the only reasonable conclusion. David squeezed my hand. He believed it. That's what makes it so devastating. He was right. Dad hadn't been pretending. He genuinely thought Jessica's boutique mattered more. How did you stay so calm? I asked. I wanted to scream. I wanted to flip the table. Years of practice hiding what I'm thinking, he said. It's a skill you develop in finance. But trust me, I wanted to do a lot more than flip a table. When we got home, I carried Lily upstairs and tucked her into bed. She stirred as I pulled the blanket up. Mom, her voice was small, sleepy. Yes, baby. Are we going to be okay? I smoothed her hair back. We're going to be more than okay, I promise. Even without Grandma and Grandpa, the question pierced through me. Especially without them, if that's what it takes to keep you safe and loved properly. She nodded and closed her eyes. I watched her for a long moment, this brave little girl who'd endured so much. The scar on her back from the biopsy. The night she'd cried from pain. The way she'd learned to ask me if we could afford things before requesting them. 7 years old and already carrying burdens no child should know. Downstairs, I found David in his office. He had his laptop open, multiple screens showing financial charts and documents I didn't understand. I'm setting up a trust, he said without looking up. For Lily. Education, medical expenses, whatever she needs. It'll be ironclad. Your parents won't be able to touch it or contest it. David, and I'm having my lawyer draft a document that specifically excludes them from any medical decisions. If anything happens to you, they have no rights. My sister gets guardianship, not them. I sank into the chair across from his desk. You really think they'd try to interfere? He finally looked at me. I think people who value money over a child's health can rationalize anything. I'm not taking chances with Lily's future. The next morning, I woke to 17 missed calls. My parents had clearly spent the night trying to reach me. The voicemails ranged from confused to angry to pleading. I deleted them all without listening past the first few seconds. Work was a welcome distraction. I'd been the marketing director at a small tech company for 3 years, and my boss had been incredibly understanding about Lily's medical situation. When I arrived, my colleague Marcus was waiting by my desk with coffee. How'd it go with your parents? He asked. I confided in him about the dinner, about my desperate need for help, but I hadn't mentioned David's plan or his income. They chose to fund my sister's boutique instead, I said. Marcus's jaw dropped. You're joking. I wish I was. What are you going to do? Can you take out loans? Start a GoFundMe. Actually, I said, sitting down and logging into my computer, David had the money all along. He wanted to see what choice they'd make. Marcus was quiet for a moment. That's either brilliant or cruel. I can't decide which. Neither can I admitted. But it worked. I know exactly who they are now. My phone rang. Mom again, Marcus asked. I declined the call. They're not taking the hint. They're probably still in shock. Give them a few days to get angry. That's when the real messages will start. I was right. By Wednesday, the tone shifted. Dad sent a text calling me ungrateful and manipulative. Mom sent a long email about how I was tearing the family apart. Jessica left a voicemail calling me every name she could think of, her voice shrill and furious. You always have to be the victim, Tammy Jessica's message said. You always have to make everything about you. Mom and Dad were trying to help both of us, and you threw a tantrum because you didn't get your way. Grow up. The world doesn't revolve around you and your kid. I saved that voicemail. Something told me I might need it later. Thursday evening, David came home with news. Your sister went to my office today. I looked up from helping Lily with homework. What? She showed up at the reception desk, demanded to see me. Security escorted her out, but not before she caused a scene. He loosened his tie. She was yelling about how I'd ruined her life, how I'd manipulated everyone, how she was going to sue me for emotional distress. Can she do that? No, but she can try, which will cost her money she doesn't have. He poured himself a drink. Your parents were waiting in the parking garage. I think they'd planned it together. My stomach tightened. Did they approach you? Your father did. Asked if we could talk man to man. I told him we had nothing to discuss, and that if any of them showed up at my workplace again, I'd get a restraining order. Lily was watching us, her pencil frozen over her math worksheet. I forced a smile. It's okay, sweetheart, just adult drama. Nothing for you to worry about. She didn't look convinced, but she returned to her homework. That night, after Lily was asleep, I finally broke down. David found me in the bathroom, sitting on the floor, sobbing into a towel to muffle the sound. They were supposed to love her, I choked out. She's their granddaughter. How could they choose money for Jessica over Lily's life? What kind of people do that? David sat beside me, pulling me against him. The kind of people who never should have been parents in the first place. I keep thinking about when I was little. Dad teaching me to ride a bike. Mom making my Halloween costumes. Were those people ever real, or was I just useful until I wasn't? Maybe both, David said quietly. People can love you and still be fundamentally selfish. The love doesn't make the selfishness hurt less. Friday brought a new approach. My Aunt Patricia, Mom's sister, called me. We'd always been close. She'd been the one to watch me when my parents traveled, the one who'd come to my college graduation when they'd skipped it for Jessica's rehab graduation. Your mother asked me to call, she said. She's devastated. They both are. They should be. Sweetheart Tammy. I'm not calling to take sides. I just want you to know that they're struggling with this. They thought they were making a balanced decision. Aunt Patricia, they gave Jessica $160,000 for a boutique and offered me $20,000 for Lily's surgery. How is that balanced? She sighed. When you put it like that, it sounds bad. It sounds bad because it is bad. Your mother mentioned that David had money all along, that you weren't really in need. Would it have been okay if we were actually desperate, I asked? If we'd had no options, and they'd still chosen Jessica's boutique, would that have been fine? Of course not. Then David's money doesn't change anything. They made a choice based on what they believed was true. They chose wrong. Aunt Patricia was quiet. You're right. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have called. It's okay, but please tell them to stop. Stop calling. Stop showing up places. Stop sending people to talk to me. They made their decision. I've made mine. The weekend was peaceful by comparison. David took us to the zoo. Lily laughed for the first time in days, pointing out animals and reading the information plaques with enthusiasm. We had lunch at the cafe, and David let Lily order whatever she wanted. This is nice, Lily said, chocolate ice cream on her chin. Just us. Just us, I agreed, wiping her face. David caught my eye over Lily's head. There was something sad in his expression, but also something resolute. We were building our own family, one that didn't include people who'd failed the most basic test of love. Monday morning brought the first crack in my parents' unity. Mom called from a number I didn't recognize, so I answered, thinking it might be the hospital or Lily's school. Please don't hang up, she said immediately. I just need 5 minutes. I should have disconnected right then. You have too. Your father and I had a fight. A bad one. About the money. About Jessica. About you. He's saying I'm too soft, that you're being manipulative, and we should stand firm. But I keep thinking about Lily. You should have thought about Lily at dinner. I know, you're right, I should have. Her voice cracked. I've made a lot of mistakes with you, favoring Jessica, looking the other way when she treated you badly. I told myself it was because she needed more support, because she struggled more. But the truth is, it was easier to give in to her than to stand up for you. I didn't respond. Couldn't. I want to make this right, Mom continued. I know you don't need the money now, but I want to give it to you anyway. For Lily's surgery, for her recovery, whatever you need. I'll take it from the money we gave Jessica. And what does Dad think about this? Silence. He doesn't know you're calling, does he? He'd be furious. But I don't care anymore. You're my daughter. Lily is my granddaughter. I should have chosen you. It was the closest thing to an apology I'd ever gotten from her. Part of me wanted to accept it, to believe she'd finally seen the light. But another part, the part that had watched her smile while explaining why Jessica deserved more, couldn't forget. I appreciate that, Mom. I really do. But it's too late. Please, Tammy, you didn't just make a financial mistake. You revealed what you value. And I can't expose Lily to people who might make her feel less important than her cousins or less worthy of love or support. I can't risk her internalizing the same treatment I got. I would never make her feel that way. You already did. She was sitting right there when you said Jessica deserves a better life. She heard every word. She asked me later why you don't love her. Mom's sob was audible through the phone. I'm not trying to hurt you, I said, but I'm done protecting your feelings at the expense of my daughter's well-being. You made your choice. This is mine. I hung up before she could respond. Then I saved her new number in my contacts, as Mom do not answer, so I'd recognize it if she called again. David had been listening from the doorway. That must have been hard. It was necessary, I said. She wants absolution without consequence. That's not how this works. 2 weeks later, my phone buzzed with messages, first from Mom, then from Dad, then finally from Jessica. The boutique had fallen through. The property owner had discovered Jessica's business plan was incomplete and her experience was non-existent. He backed out of the lease. Jessica was demanding my parents sue him. They were asking if we could help with legal fees. I blocked all their numbers, including Mom's new one. Lily's surgery was scheduled for the following Tuesday. Dr. Patterson had managed to move up her slot after another patient postponed. The timing was perfect. We'd be done with this before my family could create more drama. Lily's surgery happened on a Tuesday morning, 3 weeks after the disaster dinner. Dr. Patterson came out after 6 hours and told us it had gone perfectly. The tumor was removed completely, and while she'd need physical therapy, full recovery was expected. I sobbed in David's arms in the waiting room, releasing months of fear and tension. Jessica showed up at the hospital 2 hours later. She must have called around to find out where we were, probably pestering mutual acquaintances until someone told her. She made it past the front desk by claiming to be Lily's aunt and found us in the surgical recovery wing waiting area. Her hair was unwashed, her makeup smeared. She looked desperate. "Please," she said. "I need to talk to you. Mom and Dad won't take my calls. The boutique money, they want it back. They're threatening to take me to court. I need help. I need a lawyer." David stood between her and me. "You need to leave. She's my sister. I have a right." "You have no rights here," David said coldly. "You made it clear where your priorities were. Now deal with the consequences." Security escorted her out. I watched her go, feeling nothing but exhaustion. Mom and Dad tried next, arriving with flowers and stuffed animals. They smiled and cooed over Lily, acting as if the dinner had never happened. Lily accepted their gifts politely, but wouldn't speak to them. After 15 minutes of awkward small talk, they left. In the parking garage, Dad cornered me, while Mom distracted David. "You know this makes you just as bad as us," he said quietly, cutting us off because we made one mistake, using money to manipulate relationships. "You're no better, Tammy." I looked at him carefully, at this man who'd taught me to ride a bike and helped me with homework and walked me down the aisle at my first wedding. I tried to find some remnant of love for him, but came up empty. "The difference," I said, "is that I would have given you the money if Lily was fine and Jessica was sick. I would have helped without conditions or tests. You failed one. I'm not manipulating you with money. I'm protecting my daughter from people who valued a boutique over her life. There's a difference." He flinched. "We didn't know David had money." "That's what makes it unforgivable," I said. "If you'd known, you might have made a different choice, but that would have been for the wrong reasons. You should have chosen Lily because she's a child who needed help. The money should never have mattered." I walked away, leaving him standing alone among the cars. 6 months later, Lily walked without assistance for the first time since surgery. Her physical therapist cried. So did I. David recorded the whole thing, narrating like a sports announcer, making Lily giggle. We went home and ordered pizza and watched movies until Lily fell asleep between us on the couch. My phone buzzed, a text from an unknown number. It was Jessica. "The boutique failed. I'm bankrupt. Mom and Dad are suing me for the money. Please help." I deleted the message without responding. Another text came. "I'm your sister. Doesn't that mean anything?" I blocked the number. David found me on the back porch later that night, staring at the stars. He handed me tea and sat down beside me. "No regrets?" he asked. I thought about it carefully. I regret that they made the choice they made. I regret that Lily heard it. I regret that this is who they are. But cutting them off, no regrets about that. Regrets. "Jessica's legal troubles will probably drag on for months," he said. "Your parents will lose their case eventually. She never signed proper loan documents, and even if she had, she's got no assets to collect against." "How do you know that?" "I have friends in family law. They're talking about it." He paused. "Your parents will probably lose most of that $160,000. Jessica already spent a huge chunk of it." "On what?" "Apparently she went on a shopping spree before the boutique deal fell through. New car, furniture, clothes. She thought she was about to be a successful business owner. She spent accordingly." I sipped my tea. It was chamomile, my favorite. I should feel something, satisfaction maybe, or vindication. But I just feel tired. "That's normal," David said. "They were your parents. Grieving them doesn't require their death, just the death of who you thought they were." "Did you know?" I asked. "When you first met them, did you know it would end like this?" I suspected, he admitted. The way they talked about Jessica versus how they talked about you. The way they lit up for her and offered polite smiles for you. I saw the pattern. I just needed you to see it too." Lily called out from inside, half awake and wanting water. We both went to her together and tucked her back in. Her room was full of pictures she'd drawn during recovery, rainbows and houses and stick figure families. In every single one, there were 3 people, her, me, and David. My parents weren't in any of them. 1 year later, I received a wedding invitation in the mail. Mom and Dad were renewing their vows. 40 years of marriage. The invitation was formal, expensive. My name was on the envelope, but there was no personal note, just the printed details and an RSVP card. I threw it away. 2 days later, Mom called from yet another new number. I recognized the area code this time and almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of me. "Did you get the invitation?" she asked, her voice careful. "Yes. Will you come? It would mean so much to us. Family should be there." "No." "Please, Tammy. Your father wants to reconcile, so do I. We miss Lily, we miss you." "You chose this," I said. "When you had a chance to help Lily, you chose Jessica's boutique. When you had a chance to show up for us, you chose your own comfort. Actions have consequences. That was over a year ago. You're going to hold on to that forever." "It wasn't about the money," I said. "It was about the choice. You revealed who you are when it matters. I'm protecting my daughter from people who see her as less important than their other grandchildren, or their investments, or their image." "Jessica is suffering," Mom said quietly. "She's living in a studio apartment. She works retail. She has nothing." "Then help her," I said. "That's what you chose. Live with it." "And what about us?" Mom's voice cracked. "Don't we deserve forgiveness?" "Forgiveness isn't the same as relationship," I said. "I don't hate you. I just don't trust you. And I won't expose Lily to people I don't trust." I hung up and blocked the new number. David found the invitation in the trash later. "Your mom called." "Yeah. How do you feel?" "Free," I said. "Is that wrong?" "Shouldn't I feel guilty or sad?" "You feel how you feel," he said. "They made their choice. You made yours. That's how consequences work." Lily burst into the kitchen home from school full of stories about her day. She'd made the soccer team. Her legs were strong now, fully recovered. She was thriving. David and I listened to her chatter about practice and her friends and the science project she wanted to start. She didn't ask about grandparents. She didn't mention the invitation she didn't know about. She was happy in the family we built, the one that had shown up when it mattered. My phone buzzed, another unknown number. I glanced at the text. "This is cruel. We're your parents. We deserve better than this." I deleted it without responding and turned off my phone. Lily grabbed my hand. "Can we make cookies? David promised we could try the recipe with chocolate chips and peanut butter." "Absolutely," I said, letting her pull me toward the pantry. Behind me, David was already getting out the mixing bowls. Our home was warm and full and safe. Outside, my parents were planning their anniversary party, probably making excuses for why one daughter wouldn't attend. Jessica was working a job she considered beneath her, blaming everyone but herself for her situation. And I was making cookies with my daughter, who could walk, who could run, who could live fully because we'd saved her without them. Some people think family is everything, that blood obligates forgiveness, that parents deserve infinite chances, that sisters should support each other no matter what. Those people haven't watched their parents choose money over their child's life. I have, and I chose accordingly.